Hi again, Mrs. Norrie's back. I found a book that I have had since I was 10 years old, and it's full of lots of fairy tales that have been told in a slightly different way. And actually, it's an amazing book. So if you don't know it, you might know the author. The person who wrote these tales is Roald Dahl, and it's called Revolting Rhymes, and they are all lots of stories that we think we know, but Roald Dahl's written them in a slightly different way. And they all rhyme, which makes super sense because I love a rhyming story. Here I am again in my kitchen living room. You can see it's there's the window at the back and the bunting, my cookery books, schoolwork. Can't get away from that. And here we go. Can you tell who this story is going to be about? Slightly bedraggled, wearing rags, sitting looking glum. I wonder if you can tell it's Cinderella. Cinderella. Right, let's get started. I guess you think you know this story. You don't. The real one's much more gory. The phony one, the one you know, was cooked up years and years ago and made to sound all soft and sappy just to keep the children happy. Mind you, they got the first bit right. The bit where in the dead of night, the ugly sisters, jewels and all, departed for the palace ball, while darling little Cinderella was locked up in a slimy cellar, where rats who wanted things to eat began to nibble at her feet. Yes, that rat does look slightly hungry and excited about those toes. She bellowed, "Help! And let me out!" The magic fairy heard her shout. Appearing in a blaze of light, she said, "My dear, are you all right?" "All right," cried Cindy. "Can't you see? I feel as rotten as can be." She beat her fist against the wall and shouted, "Get me to the ball! There's a disco at the palace. The rest have gone and I am jealous. I want a dress. I want a coach. And earrings and a diamond brooch. And silver slippers. 2 of those. And lovely nylon pantyhose. Turn up like that. I'll guarantee the handsome prince will fall for me." The fairy said, "Hang on a tick." She gave her mighty wand a flick, and quickly, in no time at all, Cindy was at the palace ball. It made the ugly sisters wince to see her dancing with the prince. She held him very tight and pressed herself against his manly chest. The prince himself was turned to pulp, and all he could do was gasp a gulp. Then midnight struck. She shouted, "Heck! I've got to run to save my neck." The prince cried, "No, alas, alack." He grabbed her dress to hold her back, and Cindy shouted, "Let me go!" The dress was ripped from head to toe. She ran out in her underwear and lost one slipper on the stair. The prince was on it like a dart. He pressed it to his pounding heart. "The girl this slipper fits," he cried, "tomorrow morn will be my bride. I'll visit every house in town until I've tracked the maiden down." Then, rather carelessly, I fear, he placed it in a crate of beer. At once, one of the ugly sisters, the one whose face was blotched with blisters, sneaked up and grabbed the dainty shoe and quickly flushed it down the loo. Then, in its place, she calmly put the slipper from her own left foot. Aha! You see, the plot grows thicker, and Cindy's luck starts looking sicker. Next day, the prince went charging down to knock on all the doors in town. In every house, the tension grew. Who was the owner of the shoe? The shoe was long and very wide. A normal foot got lost inside. Also, it smelled a wee bit icky. The owner's feet were hot and sticky. Thousands of eager people came to try it on, but all in vain. Now came the ugly sisters' go. One tried it on. The prince screamed, "No!" But she screamed, "Yes, it fits! Whoopee! So now you've got The prince went white from ear to ear. He muttered, "Let me out of here." "Oh, no, you don't. You made a vow." "There's no way you can back off now." "Off with her head," the prince roared back. They chopped it off with one big whack. This pleased the prince. He smiled and said, "She's prettier without her head." Then came up sister number 2, who yelled, "Now I will try the shoe." "Try this instead," the prince yelled back. He swung his trusty sword and smack! Her head went crashing to the ground. It bounced a bit and rolled around. In the kitchen, peeling spuds, Cinderella heard the thuds of bouncing heads upon the floor. She poked her own head around the door. "What's all the racket?" Cindy cried. "Mind your own biz," the prince replied. Poor Cindy's heart was torn to threads. "My prince," she thought, "he chops off heads." "How could I marry anyone who does that sort of thing for fun?" "Who is this girl?" the prince cried out. "Off with her head! Give her a clout!" Just then, in a blaze of light, the magic fairy hove in sight. Her magic wand went swoosh and swish. "Cindy," she cried, "come make a wish. Wish anything, and I have no doubt that I will make it come about." Cindy answered, "Oh, kind fairy, it's time I shall be more wary. No more princes, no more money. I've had my taste. I think I've had my taste of honey. I'm wishing for a decent man. Well, they're hard to find. Do you think you can?" Within a minute, Cinderella was married to a lovely fella, a simple jam maker by trade, who sold good homemade marmalade. Their house was filled with smiles and laughter, and they were happy forever after. I'm just looking across the page, and there's another one called Jack and the Beanstalk. Save that for another day, I think. Anyway, have a lovely week, and I'll see you again soon.